Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Last video felt so good to just kind of get out of the way and to get back to my mission. And I was just telling a friend, I guess you call her my twin flame. I don't know if we have just one, like Teal Swan says, or if we have more than one, like some other people have told me, but anyways. And I was just telling her like how when I share so authentically and vulnerable and like get back to like the mission and my purpose here on earth, I feel how I just feel so good and happy and light. And it just like, God, it feels so good to get back into that movement rather than, I told her, like, rather than trying to control the narrative like a fucking politician, you know, like what? Am I a politician? I'm trying to control my brand so I can like, you know, I noticed that is like that conditioning, that control part, the superego, this fucking spiritual ego, whatever you want to call it. God, how fucking restricting is that, you know? And just not letting the soul express and just letting me be me, you know? And so it felt so good to do that. And I can feel parts of me even resisting it in this moment, you know, how those parts will be there. But I'm more willing now to just be with those feelings and yeah, just get back to like what's real and just speaking from there. And who the fuck cares what happens, right? Who the fuck cares what happens? If you're on purpose and you're fulfilling your divine mission, just trust that you're supported and loved by the energetic reality, the divine reality underneath all of this tangibly what seems like real physical stuff. But just know it's not actually it's real in a sense, but it's what's more real is the energetic reality underneath it that's projecting it all forward, that's bringing it all forward. And like when we are just connected to our soul and we're just moving in a free and liberated way, we can feel that support. We won't even need the money or the approval of others. Those things will probably come, but you won't need them because you'll feel the divinity within you. I was even telling her like, oh my God, I feel so much more light. What a miracle, you know? We step into like our truth. We step into our role here. It's like that agreement with source. It's like I heard Feel Good talk about this once. Like his thing was we borrow energy from God's source to be here, right? And it kind of makes sense from that perspective. What's coming to me is like we borrow this energy and it's like in return, like we give our gifts, like we share, we serve the role we agreed to serve in some sense, you could say. It's like that exchange. And if you're not moving with that, you're going to suffer. You're going to be in pain. It's like the universe is going to be giving you wake-up calls. Like, hey, remember the thing? It's like we gave you the energy to come here so you would do this thing. Remember? It's like, remember the contract you signed? If you want to put it in like those terms. And when you're not upholding your contract, you're going to feel pressure in your being. You're going to feel a restlessness and agitation and anger. Like, God damn it. You know, your soul is like trying to wake you up and be like, hey, we need to fulfill this thing here, you know? And for me, it's like, we need to fulfill being that human laboratory, being completely real and vulnerable about everything. And it's so fun for me. I love doing it. And I'm sure for other people, it wouldn't be as fun for them because maybe their thing is something different. But for me, this is the juice, you know, this is God, this is the nectar. And it's so good to just be here and be real with you guys again. And right now I'm in a parking lot in Albertsons in Boise, Westish Boise, and I think from here I'm gonna go sauna and shower, and then after that I have no fucking idea. I've been just kind of playing with different ideas and feeling into what kind of experiences of growth I want to have. And a heads up, if we like fall in love ever, or if we get really connected, outside of the session container, of course, like sessions are super confidential. It's just me. I share nothing about that. Like that's just ours, right? Outside of that, I'm talking my like love life, friends, that stuff. Just know like I'm going to share about it. I'm never going to use your name, of course. No one's going to know who I'm talking about. I don't know why I wanted to say that. I said that. See, even that's a little embarrassing for me to say. I just have all these parts that are like so much shame. Like, why did you say that? That sounded dumb, you know? And it's just like judging myself. Like, part of me wants to delete the video. I'm just going to let these things get messy and just like let it all play out, you know? And just let you guys be like, this guy's insane. And that would be great. Maybe I need to hear I'm insane from you guys. One time in session, and I'm trying to get to the point, but we'll get there. One time in session with Cesare, I just made like a fiery video about why I thought wearing stuff over your face and putting stuff in your body was just insane and bullshit. And I know it triggered a lot of people. And I don't actually think that truly. I do. It's insane for me. Like, this video is going to go off the rails. Oh, it feels so good to go off the rails. And no, I'm just going to post this anyways. Anyways, that stuff, it like didn't resonate with me. It was like not for me. I just made this video like sharing about my perspectives about what was happening. And my perspectives have evolved into more of an expansive place, as all of ours has, through what we've all experienced. But I just remember Cesare saying, it sounds like you want to have the experience of people kind of not liking you, or getting this feedback of like where people, you get 10 dislikes on a video or some shit, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I actually wanted to have that experience. Something in me was like, what is that? Curious about it. Something in me was like, ooh, Donald Trump, what would that be like for a day? Or any fucking president who's just like, you know, you get constant criticism. It's after a while, it just must not stick, right? You just must not, you know, it's like nothing. And I think that's the point I was making in my last video, where praise and blame is all the same. I think I wanted to feel it in my bones and my system. Like, what's it like to have a bunch of people tell me, hey, you're wrong about this, or that's kind of someone told me something about it that, anyways, feedback that's like, basically, we don't like what you just said. What you just said was mean, or what you just said was something, you know, like that. And I could feel like in my system, like how exciting that was for me. Like, oh my God, I'm bad, you know, I'm evil, I'm the bad guy. And something in me was like, oh, this is fun, you know, like just we're in these characters, and not in a way that I want to ever hurt anyone. Just like in the way I was sharing my authentic truth, a truth that I knew was polarizing and was going to trigger people. Now that's different from being like intentionally hurtful. That is not something I'm interested in. That sounds like not fun to me, not juicy, not interesting at all. I'm just talking about sharing an authentic truth. And I think we all have them. We all must, right? If I have them, you have them. An authentic truth that's a little edgy, that you know other people are going to disagree with you about, probably. That's going to fire people up, right? But you stand in it. That's what I wanted. I was like, ooh, like these figures who just stand in their truth, like a Bill Maher, a Candace Owens. There's a lot of them, but I'm blanking. There's a lot of people that I've admired. Glenn Greenwald. And it can be whatever spectrum of a belief, opinion, you know, this side, that side, whatever. But just these people, Joe Rogan, who stand in their truth, regardless of and it's not like they don't listen to feedback and they're not willing to hear people. But there was something in me that was like, ooh, that feels good. That feels good. And I think I want to do that more. So I'll probably be sharing some more polarized opinions, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm like a little kid again. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. I get to be me again. This is fucking weird. Like, why wasn't I doing this? You know, like, I feel like I'm like back at home. Like, what happened? Shadow work. It happens. Oh yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, and this is why I made the point earlier and felt silly about it, but whatever. Like, moving after the sauna shower, like, do I drive more west and go hang out with my twin flame for a while and drink in all that has to offer, which are insanely intense, but growth-oriented, and fun, but painful, super fucking triggering. Like, you always are, in a twin flame connection, you're always triggered in a way that you would least expect. It's like, when you're in one, it's like you really have all these safeguards, and like, you know where you're going to get triggered, and you can almost anticipate them. And you're like, okay, today I'm not going to be triggered by this person. And the divine is just like right where you weren't looking, you know, just like right there, sticks like a knife right in your most raw wound. And it's never about it's like not like the other person's fault, or it's just like these energetic connections. They just do that naturally on their own. That's like what they're intended to do. So I'm like, do I want to go sign up for that for a little bit and see her? And I think we've both grown so much and evolved so fully. We have a lot more evolving to do. We've evolved more fully relative to where we were, especially in the relational sense, that I don't think it would be as triggering, but I could be wrong. Who knows? It could be a disaster. And when I say disaster, I mean in a good way. It could just like rip us open and offer more healing. And then usually in twin flame connections, when you get ripped wide open, you do need this space after to integrate. So I could go do that. There's this beautiful woman in Berlin. This has happened before. This happened a year and a half ago. A beautiful woman in Berlin. I ended up flying there, spending 5 weeks there. But this feels a little different in some ways. But it still has like that underlying element. It's like a beautiful woman in Berlin. A lot of resonance there. Do I get on an airplane and I could go see her? That sounds fun. That sounds nice. But then there's like, also, do I just get my own place? And that doesn't sound as juicy right now. It doesn't sound like, it's like our soul will put opportunities to grow in front of us. And sometimes we'll resist them because out of fear, out of like, we don't want the pain. We just want to chase pleasure and comfort. And there is a little bit in me that's like, getting my own place right now. And this is why I think I've resisted it. And I've been in my car for 4 days when I've had the money to get a new place. Essentially, or at least I've had the money to like move in that direction. There's been a little resistance because it doesn't feel as alive, you know? It feels like yeah, there'd be the pressure to make money and to pay bills. Sure. And there would be, some growth there. But it feels more like a comfort thing to do that. Whereas going to see my twin flame or going to Berlin on this, to see this other woman, and it wouldn't be just about her either, because I absolutely love Berlin, but just going into another country and integrating with that energy field and letting it kind of evolve me and expand me and help me grow. That whole experience sounds alive. Of course, like the twin flame is always super alive. And then there was like the other option of like going home and just chilling with the folks for a minute. And they're like little Buddhas now in some ways. And it's still a triggering environment for me, not because of who they are now so much, although we still all have a shadow, but mostly because of how my inner child remembers them when they were crazy children trying to raise children. You know what I mean? And I think all of our parents were kind of like that. I love them. They're great. They did an amazing job. Sometimes we don't really necessarily see the gifts that we got from our ancestors and our parents. When we're doing this inner work, we're really just seeing a lot of trauma. So I feel like I've really captured them in that light for a long time of the trauma that we went through in childhood, right? So it's like my inner child, just saying all that to say they're great people and they've grown so much. It's shocking how much they've grown and how much more aware and conscious they are. How much less judgmental and more loving and compassionate they are. How much more patient. They don't judge me for my path, for how, for the life I live. They've been nothing but supportive. Especially, they just actually get more and more supportive and more people that I feel better being around, honestly. But I say all that to say this is like, there are parts in me, like the 3-year-old, who doesn't really know that, right? Who doesn't know them as they are now. He just remembers them as when he was 3 and they were 20 something and just, who knows, trying to do the best they could, right? And so he'll get to he feels uneasy going back. And there's still some stuff there that we're working through, like there would be in any parent, child dynamic. So it's like, okay, that feels a little juicy in that sense. Like, okay, I get to work through some stuff from childhood. It's really going to come up. And there's also the aspect of like, oh yeah, delicious food, get to kind of like rest, at home. That's always kind of nice. So there's those options. So it's like, you see, I have like these 4 options. And then the 5th option is the option I keep choosing every day, which is being in the car. Like, I just keep choosing this one. I literally don't choose. I choose my next action like right as it's happening. Like, I'm hungry. I need a shower and sauna. I want to do yoga. I want to go sit on Earth. I like drove intuitively to Earth and had live music yesterday. It was great. And so I noticed in my, I like, we'll see, well, maybe I'll choose one of those 4 options tomorrow or whatever. Maybe I'll get a place on my own tomorrow. Maybe I'll drive to Washington tomorrow. Maybe I'll get on a plane to Berlin tomorrow. Maybe I'll go home tomorrow. And so I haven't really been moving on any of those. And I've just been kind of choosing being in the car. And so I can feel my body though. It's like, I can feel it's getting ready to choose something. And I thought, maybe I'd be, by the end of this, I'd know. I don't know. They all feel like great in a way. They all feel perfect, right? They all feel like they offer something really cool, really beautiful, really fun. They all have their own dark and light. I was talking with Julian. I love him so much. He's one of my spiritual guides. And that's what I was in the session. I was like really confused and struggling with all this. And I was like, the thing is, I wasn't choosing to be where I was. I was like really resisting being in the car, but I couldn't get out of the car because I was refusing to make a different choice. And the conclusion we came to at the end was like, I was just looking for a choice with all the, that was fully light and no darkness. When my consciousness can feel into every single choice and see a light and a dark. There's a light and a dark to getting my own place. There's a light and a dark to reconnecting with the twin flame, light and a dark with going home for a little bit, and a light and a dark with going and seeing the beautiful women in Berlin. And I could see my spiritual ego saying it didn't want to choose something unless it was fully light. And it was like I was under some spell or some illusion. And there's a light and a dark for being in the car. Like, no matter, even if we're not choosing something because there's a darkness to it with the light, we're still going to be in something with darkness, because you can't, it's non-dual. There's darkness and light. You can't have one without the other. And I was like really in separation, thinking I could just have all light. Where's the all light choice? I feel darkness in all of them. I feel contrast in all of them, because that's your on planet Earth, silly. Like, duh. That's the point. Which one do you want to sign up for? Which experience, which contrast, which light and dark, energetic experience do you want to have? They're all great. And that goes for you too. They're all fucking great. Your soul wouldn't be offering you an experience if it wasn't great for your evolution and growth. It wouldn't even be on the table. It wouldn't even be a possibility for me to go see my twin flame or go to Germany or go back home or get my own place if all of them didn't offer something great. Or the choice I'm making now, being in my car. Uncomfortable, annoying, but great. I'm growing a lot, and fun and free. And it has a light side of being totally unhinged and free. I can just fucking do anything. I literally can drive anywhere. I've just been intuitively driving. That's how I found the live music in that amazing park yesterday or 2 days ago, or whenever you see this, that I wanted to share with you. So yeah, once I kind of liberated myself from that whole program I was kind of underneath and trapped in, I just had a lot of energy that wanted to move, a lot of sharing. And I still don't know. I'm going to take you along for the journey though, that I can promise. And when I know, you will know what I'm going to do. But just know that in your own decision. I feel really light about it. Once we recognize that they're all great, who cares? When it comes to your own choices with relationships, jobs, all of it. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't perfect. So you can't choose wrong. They're all going to offer you something so rich and beautiful. So, and you don't even have to make a choice. Like, I'm just not making a choice. Like, and when you're not making a choice, you're also kind of choosing, right? Me not making a choice is actually choosing to stay in my car and just meditating and being in nature a lot, going to places with awesome saunas, eating great food, acai bowls, whatever. It's all good. Much love to you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Namaste.